Hello everybody, welcome back to the next episode of All the Mods 8. So we need to do a little bit of work down here. The next step that I have for us in this progression in Industrial Foregoing is probably to get ourselves some pink slime, as well as some of the mob or the liquid meat. And that's done using the mob slaughter factory and the range upgrades. I have these two pinned because we're going to need to make use of this area here that I have planned out. I put a spawner up there and I made it a little faster, and I also made it so that I can toggle it on and off just using the normal system we have here. And I think what I'm going to do is set up the mob slaughter factory right here, and we're going to actually just use this entire area to farm the pink slime that we're going to need. Okay, let's set up the crafting recipe for this thing. So most of this is already auto-crafted. I don't really think I want to set this to auto-crafting. I think we can probably just go ahead and craft it as is, but that's not going to be a big deal. We're only really going to need one of these, so let's just throw this all in, just like so, and we should have enough. There we go. And we're also going to need a range upgrade. Now, this is done in the dissolution chamber, and I think I will set this to an auto craft, just because it's going to be easiest that way. We can just come in here and dump it in one of these dissolution chambers that I have made here. And if we request one, just using this, it should go ahead and do its thing, just like so. Okay. So now let's go back over to that area. So how I want this set up, I want to come in here and replace some of this glass with the actual factory itself. And let's just show the working area. So right now this is working in just a 3x1 area as it shows in the outline here. But we want to make this a little bit bigger. So if we put in the range add-on, now we can see that this entire lower area here is completely encased by this range. So when they spawn, they'll drop down, and then this will pick them up and convert them into the slime. So that's going to be totally fine. I think that's going to be the only range upgrade we need for this. Once this thing turns on, it's going to start cranking, so we have to make sure that we have this all set up down here to begin with. And I think I'm just going to go ahead and dig out a little area, and I think I'm going to make use of laser IO again to automate the grabbing and sending back of resources. I know we're going to get the meat and pink slime as the two outputs for this, so we're going to have areas to store that in. So I'm going to set up a laser node below, and I know that the upside needs to be putting in energy, so I'm going to put an energy card preemptively in there, and the downside has to be the upside also has to be extracting fluid. So let's put an extract in there. We might have to throw in a couple of speed upgrades, which are what these card overclockers do. They let you adjust the overall speed of this, so that should be plenty fast. So now that's going to extract from the bottom, and we're going to set both of these to pushing to the bottom, and then the energy will be going up. Let's put our tanks down just preemptively. I'm going to end up hooking these into refined storage, similarly to how we did the latex. So what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to put these here. If we put two more of these, that's not right. If we put two more of these nodes down, and then if we link them to this one, just like so, now we can say, okay, let's push the fluid into the bottoms of these. And we're going to want to add filters to these because we want to make sure that they're only putting in the items that or the fluids that they can hold. So we want one to be pink slime. Let's go ahead and find that. There we go. I think that will work. It shows the bucket as the way it filters it, so I think that's going to work okay. But let's just grab the one more filter and a meat bucket. So then that should be fully filtered now, which is good. And that's going to push all fluid. We don't actually need this card in here. We can put that back. So the upside is going to extract the fluid and push it into either of these two tanks, which is good. And it's also going to push energy up into this machine, which means that we need to now extract energy from the bottom. I'm hoping that's going to be enough. And then we can just put a point down, I think. That should now be powering that. There we go, perfect. So I actually am going to add some upgrades. There's 3 of these upgrades we can add to this that I have on AutoCraft that will make this thing run faster, which is very good. So that should be pretty much everything set up. I just add this back in here. So that should take care of everything we need, because there isn't going to be any items dropped. The way that this thing works is it actually doesn't give you mob drops. It just kind of squishes them down into both of these 2 liquids. So the way we can test this now is if we just take this torch out, and we can go ahead and start turning them on, and they should be pretty much getting immediately sucked out, which they are. And I don't see any fluids in here, which is a good sign. Let's go down here and check. Yep, we have liquid meat and pink slime going in here, which is good. Now we are getting the meat at a substantially faster rate than the slime, but that's okay because this is going to be going fast enough anyway, and we don't actually need a whole lot of pink slime anyway, so that's going to be fine. We do, however, want to deal with the overflow from this, so what I'm thinking is we want to maybe have some way to avoid excess. Okay, I think I figured it out here. So how I have it set up is I have these, instead of piping right into the main tank, I have one buffer tank in between each. And basically this is just allowing me to pipe it out of this, and I have this set as a advanced pipe upgrade to be nearest first, which means that it's always going to try and put the fluid or whatever it is that's coming through the pipe into the nearest inventory that it can first. And so in this case, that's going to be this tank and this tank on this side as well. And then anything that can't go into this tank, then it'll go to the next available inventory, which in this case, I'm going to have be the fluid trash can. So that's going to automatically now keep everything here, and it's not going to void any of the fluid that I want to keep until that those tanks are full, and then it will void them. So let's go ahead and get this hooked up. The external storages can just go on the backs like this. And I just want to pipe this into the side of this network receiver. And there we go. That should be essentially the entire setup complete. And now if we come up here, we can see that these are only spawning in here, which is good. This is keeping up totally fine. And all of the liquid is going down here into these tanks. And oh, we got to make sure that this is set to fluid. That's right. Fluids and fluids. There we go. Okay, we're all set there. And I also have this thing running so that it has a nether star on it, so it's going to run even when we're not around, which is good. And this entire area is chunk loaded, so this will always be running in the background, which is very good. Okay, so the next thing I want to do, I want to make a new item called a fluid grid. This is what's just going to let us observe all of the items that are in our fluid storage, or that we have like on external storages, and it'll be good to see like how much of each we have. So I'm going to go ahead and make one of these. Let's just throw this up here for now, and we will obviously make it gray. Okay, so if we come in here, let's take a look. So we have, wow, we already have 465 buckets liquid meat. We have plenty of latex as well, and we also have 28 buckets of slime already. So that is plenty fast for what we're going to need. Probably even a little overkill, but that's okay. Anyway, so now that we have the pink slime, we can go ahead and set a crafting recipe for those advanced machine frames. That's what we're going to need to get started into the laser drills. The advanced machine frame requires a couple of things that we haven't gotten on AutoCraft yet, like the simple machine frame, and that needs to be also crafted within the dissolution chamber. So, and we'll come and put this in. We'll put it in this one here. Now, one thing to keep in mind that's actually a good thing to do is if one of these items, for example, the simple machine frame, is a requirement to make the advanced machine frame, it's actually a good idea to put these into separate machines, because that way you can be making them in one, and that way it won't bottleneck and have to wait for these to be fully finished before starting on these. So now that we've done that, let's make ourselves a couple of the drills also on AutoCraft. So we're going to need the laser or base. We're only actually going to need one of these, we're going to need a couple of them, but I don't think they're worth putting on AutoCraft for. So We are going to need some more vibranium, I think. Oh, we just have enough vibranium for that. Let's go ahead and see, can we make an Aldemodium pickaxe? 1, 2, 3. So we are going to need 3 at some point, but for now, let's just go ahead and make the drill, or the, I keep saying drill, or laser base. Let's auto-craft everything in. This just should be making the advanced machine frame now in here. There we go. It just went through. So we have the ore laser base, which is the main thing that we need to start getting plenty of Aldemodium. We're also going to need drills. So how this works is you need to have drills set up pointed into the ore laser base to be able to effectively drill into it to find those resources. These also are going to be, we're going to need a lot of these. So it's going to be a good idea to set this entire recipe to be on AutoCraft. I'm going to say go ahead and make a stack. We have all the resources we need. A little expensive in some cases, but we do have all this stuff already. And this is going to take a while. So I'm going to go ahead and get this started right now because that'll work in the background for a bit. But yeah, what I want to do now, after these are finished, I want to craft the lens that we're going to need to get the ores we want. So in this case, we want Aldemodium ore. So we're going to need 1 yellow laser lens. And the more laser lenses you put of that color in, the higher chance of that material you're going to get. So in this case, they can hold up to 6 lenses. So we can put 6 of these laser lenses in. So I'm going to do 6 yellow lasers in one. So we're going to need purple laser lens for the unobtainium, which is going to be in the end highlands. And finally, the vibranium should be green. So we need green, purple, and yellow. And we can do these in the dissolution chamber as well. All it does is take latex, one of the dyes, and some regular glass panes. I do not want them to use these. I want them to use the glass panes that we already have. So it might actually be better to have one be made in the dissolution chamber and then just dye them separately. So green laser lens dyed purple with a purple dye is going to give us a purple laser lens. And as long as we have a recipe for purple, which we can just do with the dye seeds, then that should be totally fine. We're also going to do the exact same thing with yellow, but we want to use the green laser lens. So now we should be able to go ahead and craft up lens. We're going to want 6 of these. We are missing dye. I thought I had the green dye. The drills should also be done. 64 drills. That's going to give us 21 drills each per laser base. Now that I think about it, we're actually going to need 3 of these. So I'm going to go ahead and get all of this set up. I'm going to get 3 of these laser bases and make sure I have everything I need to then go. And I'm going to go to all those biomes and we're going to set up those systems together. I'm actually meeting you guys back here before I have all this stuff set up because I realized that I don't have enough vibranium to make more of these. I'm running out of this. And I think I'm going to go ahead and get the vibranium one set up before, just so we do get enough of the material to make the other ones. So let's go ahead and make one setup in the nether here, and then we'll see if we can get the other one set up too. The vibranium ore can only be obtained between Y100 and 123 in warped or crimson forests. Okay, so the nearest biome we can get to that has what we need is it's the warped forest. We don't actually have a crimson forest all that close. So we're going to have to go and find this warped forest. Okay, so we finally found this warped forest here. I'm just going to make sure that we are actually in the biome warped forest. Okay, let's come up here and just dig ourselves a nice safe spot. Okay, so let's get this thing going here. So let's put all this junk away. We put this down here. The drills are what actually does the mining for you. This is just what you need to set the depth, and then you put your laser lenses in here. So if we get our lenses out, let's throw these in here, all 6 of them. The vibranium, I believe, had to be above Y level 100. It's between 100 and 123. So I think as long as we're around there, we should be fine. So we're in that range, which is good. So now we have to, this actually doesn't require any power. What actually requires the power is the drills. So if we put down a drill, we want to face the drills so that the little circle is pointing towards the actual base itself. Just like that. There we go. These are now facing the laser base, and now we just have to give these power. So I actually forgot to bring some good cables with me, but as a demonstration, I'll go back and get the cables and everything else we're going to need to finish this setup right away. But just to show you right now, if we give this thing some power, this has now, it has a target. So every time that this progress bar fills up, it makes the progress bar here go up by 1, which seems like it's going to be very, very slow. But the fact that we can set up a lot of these drills facing into this, and they're all going to be able to be used. All of these have a target. They don't have power, so they're not actually doing anything right now, but these all can see that drill. So if I'm thinking we set up quite a few drills here, maybe we do something like that, just a little diagonal, and then we can just run cables on top of all of these. Okay, so I have a waystone here, so now we can go back and forth nice and easily to the house. Okay, so I have the cabling, so let's go ahead and set this up. I think we're just going to put cable on top of all of these. I'm just going to put the point on top of one of these. So now all of these are running, and they all have the target of this selected. So as we can see, once this thing gets to the top of the progress bar, it will mine one item, and in this case it was glowstone, and then it'll start again. The faster that we can get this thing to run, the more efficient, obviously, we're going to get resources. So I'm going to maybe set up a couple more drills. Now, my only hesitation is that we might be a little power hungry once we have all three of these set up, all three of these setups hooked up. So I'm just going to be a little careful for now. But this is going to be good. We have some copper coming in, which is nice. And how I'm going to end up importing all this is I'm just going to end up sending it into an ender chest, I think. The best way I can think about is doing that. I don't really care to keep all of this stuff, so I'm thinking maybe we just trash anything that isn't... maybe we do like the trash can underground. We don't want these hooked up at all, because these can accept power, so we don't actually need that at all. But these are going to start pumping into this. Now, I don't want this to do this quite yet, so let's disconnect that for now, because I do want to be able to apply the filter in here for the item. So let's, yeah, we only want to allow the vibranium to come into here. So we got to make sure that we are in the right biome. We are in a warped forest, so it is a rare drop, I think. So we have to kind of maybe get this thing sped up a little faster. So now I think the only step in this is going to be, there we go, we have vibranium ore. This is what we want to allow into this machine. So we're going to, or into the ender chest. So we're going to whitelist it on here. And then we should be able to just reconnect it like so. And that will then import all the things we want. But these things will not be. So basically, I'm going to now set a blacklist to allow everything except for vibranium to come down and into a trash can. So if we come in here, get ourselves the pipe, and we will add the... yeah, so we want to put this back in and then connect it up to the garbage can. So now that's only going to allow vibranium to come into the system. Nice. So once these upgrades have started, I do want to potentially add a couple more drills here because I do need to get this stuff coming in relatively quick. But I want to be a little wary of how much power we have to give, because once we start upgrading them, it's going to drain power like crazy. Okay, I have some add-ons here. Let's go start putting these in. Now, this doesn't actually take speed add-ons, I don't think. But it does take efficiency and processing. I think instead of 100 progress, it's only going to require, I think, 80 now with the upgrades. Anyway, okay, so let's just go ahead and start putting in the other upgrades then. So we want to put one processing, speed, and efficiency in each of these. And just like that, all of these are in. And look at this. This is... Oh, it is progress 80 now. So look at how much faster stuff's coming in. So Very, very happy about that. We're going to be getting a good amount of vibranium with this, and I don't think we're going to need to add any more drills to this. We could even probably get away with removing some of these, which I might actually do in the future, depending on how the power is. But right now we're draining quite a bit of power. So let's make sure that this is set to a negative priority, maybe -10, so that this will only be getting power when we have excess power. But yeah, very cool. So now we have our vibranium situation completely taken care of. Let's go back and let's see what we have in the system. So just in that short period of time, we have 20 raw vibranium ore, which we had none before. So actually we can use the hammer. That's actually not a terrible investment to double it this way. And then we can just put it into the furnace here. And that then should give us plenty of vibranium. So let's go ahead and make a couple more gears. And I need to make 2 more of the ore laser bases. Right, we are missing netherrack or netherite scrap. We can actually get ancient debris from here, but it has to be that a lower Y value. So that's actually not going to work with the current setup we have. Okay, so the solution I've come to is I think I'm just going to adjust this to be a lower depth just for now to try and mine up some of the scrap. And now we need to remove these here, and let's make ourselves brown lens. We will make 6 of them, and we'll put in the brown lens, and that should start giving us, there we go. So that is now going to need to be disconnected from the trash, and we want to whitelist ancient debris, and we're all set. So I'm just going to let this run for a little bit, get ourselves a bunch of the ancient debris, and then we will then turn that into scrap. And there's actually a really easy way to triple this stuff. So what you do is you just take the ancient debris, you put it into the crusher, it makes the dirty netherite scrap, and then you take those 3 and put them in the enrichment chamber, and it gets you a scrap. So it kind of lets you just triple what you would normally get by smelting them, just for a little extra time spent. And we have enough time in the bottle now. I'm not worried about spending a little bit on this. So I just came down here to set up the all the modium setup at the deep dark area, which I believe this is a deep dark biome here. Yeah, biome is deep dark pretty much everywhere, so we're good to set this up here. But the thing that I'm hearing, which is a little interesting, is the skulk sensors. So over here, I think there is some sort of open cave. Ooh. I'm not necessarily scared of the Warden, because I'm pretty sure I can take him. So I'm thinking we can maybe try and get ourselves a Warden kill. This is something we actually need, I believe, for the Wither's Compass. Yeah, so we actually do need this. So I might just see if we can get ourselves a Warden kill. There's a very large area here, and he should be coming pretty soon. Should be a shrieker around here somewhere. Where was this shrieker? I wanted it to, here. Go off. Thank you. Here he is, the Warden. I don't think we're going to have too much of an issue killing this guy. Oh, that was a little easier than I expected. Yeah, we got the Heart of the Deep. Oh, there's another one? I don't think he even does damage to me. Where you going, buddy? There is an ancient city down here, which is very cool. I did get some of the... Oh, I did get a Warden spawn egg. Okay. Oh, we only need 1, though, because we only need 1 for the star. So actually, that's not a huge deal. But anyway, very cool. We did defeat the Warden. This is also deep dark, I think. It is. Okay. So as long as we put like a mega torch down here, I think that's going to be fine. Okay, I have this setup completed now as well. So this is now 6 yellow laser lenses in here. So we're getting a lot of gold. I'm actually keeping the glowstone. I'm voiding everything else. Glowstone and all the modium I'm keeping. Everything else is being trashed at the bottom again. And so we're getting a good supply of that as well. And it looks like in this one we're getting obsidian and azure silver. So I I'll keep the obsidian. I don't think I'm going to keep the Asher Silver though, so I will just probably trash that as well. And just like that, we have all the Modium, Vibranium, and Unobtainium all coming in at a really good rate now. Let's go check our power situation, because I'm feeling like this is going to be potentially a little bit... looks like we're not draining too much. We are staying pretty safe here. So we actually seem to be okay on this power gen. We don't have to upgrade quite yet, so that's good. Throw that in there. But yeah, that's really good. So I'm hoping that that's going to be sufficient for all of our needs going forward in terms of all the Modium ores. Anyways, guys, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, leave a like, comment, and feel free to subscribe if you want. Also, be sure to join the Discord, where you guys can come on over and chat about the mod pack and whatever else you feel like as well. That's going to do it for me. Have a good one, everyone. Bye.